What's up, evolutionaries? It's your boy Kali, and I'm back again with another video. If this is your first time tuning into my YouTube channel, welcome to the evolution. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you for always being here. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for always showing your support. Today's video is dedicated to all the worker bees, the workaholics, all the employed persons out there, and even if you're not employed but you plan to be soon, this video is for you. The title of this video, as you can see down below, is Worker Rights. It's as simple as it says, the rights of workers, worker rights, anyhow you want to phrase it. This video aims to basically empower employees and potential employees with the necessary ammunition needed to take on the working world as it relates to your rights as an employee. Many employees do not know that they have rights, especially when it comes on to labor laws and also being safe in the workplace. So this video is aimed to promote and to empower and to inform you persons who are out there who want to be employees and also potential employees just as myself. So let's get right to it. Worker rights. So first things first, a simple definition of what worker rights are. Worker rights refer to both legal rights and human rights relating to labor relations between workers and employers. In general, these rights influence working conditions in relations of employment. What that little definition is basically saying is any interaction between employers and employees, that's what worker rights revolve around. As I mentioned before, it also entails your safety as an employee, and as it mentioned, labor laws and human rights. So labor laws take in consideration the amount of time you work, if you're being overworked as an employee, if you're being forced to perform certain tasks that are not entailed in your job description, if you are being undermined as an employee, not given the opportunity to be promoted. On the safety side, if you are working under conditions that threaten your life, what else? Anything that is unsafe in your surroundings, that goes under the safety side of the worker rights. So the second thing on the agenda is the 4 fundamental principles and rights at work. And the first one on this is the freedom of association and the effective recognition of the right to collective bargaining. So that first one is basically referring to your salaries and your benefits, the freedom to bargain and to basically sit and negotiate your pay and any other benefits that you might get. We know for a fact, especially here in Jamaica, your base pay is what you get on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, but your benefits are basically your incentives or your commission structure that is put in place so you can earn a little bit more on your base pay. Base pays don't change, but your incentives and your commissions can change. So that's basically what that's talking about. The second one is elimination of all forms of forced or compulsory labor, and this is strangely reminds me of my previous video, human trafficking. So this also entails human trafficking, trafficking overall, physical or psychological coercion. That's basically telling you something nice so that you can be forced to do the work. So it's like giving you an ultimatum. It's either you do this and you get something nice, or you don't do this and you don't get anything at all. So you're basically playing on your mind. So that's why it says psychological coercion, telling you things so that you can think twice about the decision and ultimately making the decision that seems better for you. And most times that's being forced to do something you don't want to do and then getting something extra on it. The third one speaks about the effective abolition of child labor. That one speaks for itself. But to go in more detail, child labor focuses on drug trafficking and other illicit activities. Most countries that we see child labor being operated, they use children because children are innocent. Children can easily go around doing illegal stuff without being caught because nobody looks at a child and thinks, hey, there goes a criminal. So they use children to do illicit activities or illegal activities, if you want to call it that. The main one is drug trafficking, and the final one in the 4 fundamental principles would be the elimination of discrimination in respect of employment and occupation. This one speaks for itself again. So discrimination against race, color, religion, sex, or social origin. That also can entail not being promoted because of any one of these things. So it's being discriminated, being undermined, not being promoted simply because of how you were born, how you look, your social background, whether you're rich, poor, middle class, doesn't matter. So that's what those entail. And that sums up the 4 fundamental principles and rights at work. So the third thing I want to touch base on is the worker rights under the OSHA. And the OSHA stands for the Occupational Safety and Health Act. And this is basically giving workers the right to a safe and healthy work condition. It is the duty of the employers to provide workplaces that are free of known dangers that could harm their employees. Employers must do these 3 things, and the first thing that employers must do: inform workers about hazards throughout their tenure. So if you're employed with an organization for any amount of time, during that time you should be informed of any, and I mean any, hazards that may or may not impact you in any way. The second thing is perform safety tests in and around the building. So whether that's a fire drill or an earthquake drill, these tests for your safety, just to keep you aware of what's happening, should be done. And also, as it relates to the building safety, have persons from different organizations coming in to test to see if the building is secure in the event that a disaster should strike, and secure against fires, anything that earthquakes, anything that is possible to cause harm. They should come in to check the building for that. And the third and final thing that employers must do is to keep accurate records of work-related injuries or illnesses. And this reminds me of a nurse. Most companies, if not all, should have a nurse on site that basically would take these. They would be the ones responsible for keeping the records of all work-related injuries and illnesses, because they're the first point of contact whenever anything happens to an employee, whether you fall ill or whether you are hurt on site. Before they bring in any other outside help, the nurse would be the first point of contact. So she would basically take notes to ensure that your injury is recorded, so that in the event that you want to press charges, or if the police comes and wants to know what exactly took place, then that would be there. Just to note that self-employed persons are not covered by the self-employed persons are not covered under the Occupational Safety and Health Act. So sad to say, but if you're self-employed, you're on your own. Yeah. So the fourth and final thing that I want to talk about today, yes, I did say fourth and final, is the top 10 worker rights. And it should be very easy, very self-explanatory, so I don't think I need to get into all of them. I don't think so. So the first one is the right to a safe workplace environment. That's basically all that I've spoken about so far. So that's self-explanatory. The second one is the right to wage equality, and that has to do with equality whether you are a man, woman, gay, lesbian. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. You should have the equal opportunity for the same amount of pay. The third one is overtime wage equality. Same thing. Doesn't matter if you're a dog, a cat, a cow, you should be given equal opportunity for the same overtime wages. The fourth right is the right to no discrimination. Very explanatory. The fifth one is the right to no sexual harassment. That one is a very touchy topic, but again, very self-explanatory. The sixth one is the right to medical or family leave. Some companies call this leave of absence, where you basically take time off. You're still employed, but you don't have any schedule, any shifts, nothing at all. You just take time off to attend to medical or family issues. The seventh one is joining a union. That's basically a group of persons who come together in the event that, let's say, you were threatened to be fired for something and you don't believe that you were supposed to be fired, or you're not supposed to be fired for it. You can always go to your union, and your union represents you just like a lawyer would. So you should have the right to join a union for representation. The eighth one is the right to unemployment benefits. Depending on how long you've served with a company, depending on what position you were in with a certain company, you should have the right to unemployment benefits after you leave that company. That also takes in consideration what's that thing? Pension. Yes, that also takes in consideration pension. The ninth thing would be the free from retaliation. And that means in the event that you want to press charges against a company, or to file a lawsuit, or take something to the police regarding a company, you should have the right to be free from retaliation from the company. They shouldn't pressure you in any way to not report it, because that's against the law, because that's against your rights. And the 10th and final right would be the right to self-defense. You should be able to defend yourself in any way, if it is that you're being threatened physically, mentally, whatever the case may be. Once you were threatened first, you have the right to self-defense. Don't let anybody tell you that because it's not acceptable to fight, you're not supposed to fight, right? If you feel as if you're in a situation where it's a life and death and you are supposed to defend yourself, then by all means, your life is worth more than a job that you can always get tomorrow, right? So think about you first, think about your safety, think about what if you don't make it, and do you. That sums up the top 10 worker rights. And that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for tuning in. It was a very short video. I have told you guys for a couple of weeks now that going forward my videos will not be long. I will try to make sure that it is as concise as possible, giving you all the information that you need to go out there and educate others, but at the same time it should be short. This is in some way helping you guys to gather as much information that you need. Again, nobody's gonna sit and watch a full 30 minutes video, but at least the hope is that if the video is at least 10 to 15 minutes long, that you guys will still appreciate it and still watch it. It was my pleasure being here to talk to you guys about worker rights. It is important in every way, shape, and form, and so I was happy to be here to provide this information to you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share to your friends and family members, and leave a comment below. Let me know how you guys feel about worker rights, and also anything else that you guys want me to talk about in the future. I'm all ears. I already said subscribe, but you know, I have to say my little tagline. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember, one more subscriber equals one more supporter against all the human rights infringements. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys in 1 week, not 2 but 1. Kelly is signing out.